This evening for our city council meeting, we'll go ahead and get started. Wendy, could you please call the roll?
Cheatham,
Here.
Lyric,
Here.
Mansfield,
Here.
Mangum,
Here.
Marchand,
Here.
Nichols,
Here.
Platt,
Here. If you'd please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, after which, if you'd remain standing for the invocation, which will be offered by Mary Ann Forrest, representing HS Joshua Ministries. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening. Thank you for the invitation. Father God, we just come before you right now and just give you the glory for what's happening. I lift up our amazing community in our city, and we just ask that your presence just be here with us tonight. We're asking that you lead the leadership, Father, that your plans will unfold with this community. I thank you for the great things that you have in store for everybody. I'm asking for your blessings to be upon everybody. I ask for your Psalms 91 hedge of protection to be around each one of our leaders as they lead us. Let them hear from you like never before for your plans for this city to unfold. I lift up each of the individuals here and their families and friends that are near and dear to them, Lord, and just ask for your protection, that your blessings will be upon them, and that you will just bless our community according to your heart's desires, Lord. In your precious name we ask these things, Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Appreciate Mary Ann always being willing to come and do that, so thank you very much. We'll move to the agenda item number 3 is a consent agenda. Council, before I read through the consent agenda, item C, the treasurer's report, has been pulled from the agenda. So with that, agenda item 3, the consent agenda. The following business items may be approved by one motion and a vote. If any one member of the council so desires, any matter listed can be moved to a separate agenda item. A, minutes. Council may wish to waive the oral reading of the minutes and approve the minutes from the December 8, 2022 special council meeting. B, material claims. Council may wish to consider material claims for the period of November 26 through December 10, 2022. D, Community Development Block Grant Advisory Committee reappointment. Council may wish to consider the mayor's reappointment of Heather Disselcone to continue serving as a member of the CDBG Advisory Committee. Heather's term will begin January 1, 2023 and will expire January 1, 2026. E, Construction Board of Appeals and Review reappointments. Council may wish to confirm the mayor's reappointment of Richard Lehman and Richard Nielsen to continue serving as a member of the Construction Board of Appeals and Review. Both terms will begin December 31, 2022 and will expire December 31, 2024. F, Golf Advisory Committee appointment. Council may wish to confirm the mayor's appointment of DJ Mills to serve as a member of the Golf Advisory Committee, replacing Thomas Little, whose term expired. DJ's term will begin December 16, 2022 and will expire December 16, 2025. G, Pocatello Development Authority appointment. Council may wish to confirm the mayor's appointment of Jeff Huff to serve as a member of the Pocatello Development Authority, replacing Terrell Tovey as Bannock County representative. Jeff's term will begin December 16, 2022 and will expire May 1, 2023. H, Pocatello Regional Airport Commission reappointment. Council may wish to confirm the mayor's reappointment of Kristen Jensen to continue serving as the Power County representative on the Pocatello Regional Airport Commission. Kristen's term will begin January 4, 2023 and will expire January 4, 2025. I, 2022 Annual Road and Street Financial Report. Council may wish to approve the 2022 Road and Street Financial Report. The report accounts for the city's use of state highway user dollars during the past fiscal year to the Idaho State Controller as required by law.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, Council President Cheatham.
Mr. Mayor, I move for approval of agenda item number 3, the consent agenda items A, B, D, E, F, G, H, and I, but I'd like to discuss item I before we vote.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Council President Cheatham and a second by Councilwoman Lurick. Tom, would you please come up for some discussion on agenda item I?
Mr. Mayor, what I'd like to do is, I think this is an interesting report that the public probably hasn't read very well. And there's a lot of items on here that I think are of interest as an example of how the city spends its money. So I've talked to Mr. Kirk ahead of time, and I'd just like to ask some questions and have him explain some of these things for the public's benefit. Starting off with line 3, sale of assets, $30,465. What did we sell?
Thank you. Tom Kirkman, Deputy Public Works Director for the City of Pocatello. I just want to acknowledge that I wore my best sweatshirt, my best hoodie for tonight. So, $30,465 is sale of assets at the public auction. So vehicles that have lived their life, and we put them out for public auction.
Next item's line 5, fund transfers from non-highway accounts. What are those accounts?
So there's a right-of-way fee that's charged to the utilities, the water department, water pollution control and sanitation, and it's a fee to be able to use the right-of-way for their particular service.
And that money goes into the street department's budget?
That's correct.
So item 10 is all other local receipts or transfers in $806,000.
That is the money we get from Bannock County Road and Bridge, the tax that they levy, and that comes to us at the city.
Okay. Under line 16, all other state receipts or transfers, about $1.5 million outside of highway user revenue.
So that is one-time monies that we get from the state. For instance, there was some bills that were passed that gave us some one-time monies in the past. This particular line is some of the sales tax that was distributed to the communities. And then it's also when we have federal aid projects and we have reimbursements, that's how we account for those in that line.
So some of that amount then is one-time funds? We can't anticipate those in the future?
Yeah. However, we have been seeing that pretty regular in the past few years. So.
Okay. On line 28, it talks about under new construction, other signs, signals, or traffic control, about $227,000. Where did we do that work?
That is for the federal aid project at Hawthorne and Quinn, the new traffic signal that we're installing. That is our match for that particular project.
Okay. Under routine maintenance, line 37, winter maintenance, and $449,000. I guess my curiosity here is, with the winter we've had so far, how's our winter budget doing this year?
Right. So last winter we had a very mild winter. If you don't remember, we're right now at about 300% of last year. Wow. However, that was a very low year last year. And so we try and break winter up into basically 4 months historically: November, December, January, and then it tails off in February. You know, we may have a certain storm in October or March, but and right now we're pretty close to halfway through what we predict or projecting, and we're sitting at about 45% of our funds, and so it's close. So we're hoping that if it keeps on this trajectory, we may be close, but it's too soon to tell right now.
All right. Under line 50, under other expenditures, there's an item for street lighting. And I'm wondering whether that is electricity to run the streets, or did we install new street lighting?
That is our power bill from Idaho Power for
Okay.
all of the street lights, the signals, the decoratives down in historic downtown.
Okay. Line 59 is all other local expenditures, $1.17 million. Can you give us some examples of what that is?
Yeah, so we kind of call that our catch-all. The street department is very diverse. We have a lot of things we're responsible for. So a lot of our right-of-way maintenance where we spray weeds and mow, that's caught in this line, as well as like if we go out on emergencies to assist police or fire, for expenditures like that.
And finally, line 74, future project and reserve description. There's a number of projects listed here and funds in those projects. Is that intended to be the matching funds for those projects?
That is correct. Yeah, those are what we've got scheduled out through 2027 for our federal aid projects.
Good. That's all my questions, Mr. Mayor. Thank you. Thank you, Tom.
Super. Any other questions for Tom while he's there? Thank you, Tom. Okay, with that, Wendy, we have a motion by Council President Cheatham and a second by Lurick. Would you please call the roll?
Cheatham,
Yes.
Lurick,
Yes.
Mansfield,
Yes.
Mangum,
Yes.
Marchand,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Thank you. Agenda item 4, proclamation and communications. We have no proclamations, and so we'll move to agenda item 5 is a calendar review. Council may wish to take this opportunity to inform other council members of upcoming meetings and events that should be called to their attention. January 5 at 5:30 PM will be a clarification meeting. 6 PM will be a regular council meeting. January 12, City Council work session has been canceled. Other events, the Marshall Library has shortened service hours in December. The hours are 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. The library will be closed December 24th through the 26th for the Christmas holiday. The regular hours will return January 3rd. Looking ahead, city offices will be closed December 26th to observe the Christmas holiday and January 2nd to observe the New Year's Day holiday. Garbage and recycle pickups will be delayed by 1 day during those weeks. Community Recreation Center will be closed on the following dates for the holidays: December 24th through the 26th and December 31st through January 2nd. December 27th through the 31st, special pickup for Christmas overflow. Bags or boxes of extra holiday wrapping will be picked up on the same day as regular scheduled pickups. December 27th through January 13th, Christmas tree collection sites. Boxes will be provided at City Hall, Rainey Park on South Arthur, and Sister City Park entrance on Pocatello Creek Road. For Christmas tree disposal, trees will be chipped and used in landscaping projects. Be sure to remove all strings, wires, and other objects to avoid damaging the city's wood chipping equipment. City Creek Recreation Area gates are closed to motorized access until approximately May 15, 2023. As a reminder, keep sidewalks clear of snow and ice. When cleaning sidewalks and driveways of snow, please do not place the snow in the streets. It becomes a driving hazard. With that, we'll move to agenda item 6. This is a public hearing. Public hearing exchanging of real property. This time has been set aside for council to hear comments from the public regarding an exchange of real property located at Riverside Drive and Aspen Lane. The 1.4 acre parcel of city-owned property was declared underutilized as surplus property at the October 6, 2022 regular city council meeting. Council may wish to approve the land exchange pursuant to Idaho Code 50-1403(2) and authorize the mayor to sign all pertinent documents subject to legal department review. I declare the public hearing open. Council, have you had any ex parte communication in regards to this public hearing? Okay, Merrill.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Merrill Quell, Public Works Engineer for the City of Pocatello. As you may recall, that Jake Woodward from our last presentation, which is here today to answer any questions if you may have of him, approached the city representing 516 Riverside JW LLC about development on some property there that he had purchased. And in doing that, looking at the floodplain that's down below there, some of the zoning, access to stormwater, we have a head gate there that goes into the channel for flood purposes. And then also with some of the levee, not owning the levee and having some easements with the trail and the pathway there, that conversation went into possibly looking at some land exchanges because the city property kind of protruded up into some of the property and made a horseshoe a little bit in some areas, the property that he had purchased. In doing that, Mr. Woodward asked us to proceed as city staff. So on our regular scheduled meeting of October 6th, 2022, the city council heard this item before them for two of the issues pursuant to Idaho Code 50-1401 that we use the council proclaimed that property underutilized and surplus, and further declared your intent to exchange said property. And then after that meeting, following that, pursuant to Idaho Code 50-1402, the notice of this public hearing was notified in the Idaho State Journal, November 30th of 2022. And then from that point, Mr. Woodward asked Summit Land Surveying, Matt Baker, to finalize the maps, as we discussed last time, with the property and what would be exchanged, of who owned what, where the actual lines were, and started putting the money into the surveying. And with that came the area that the city would be receiving from this exchange would be 0.81 acres. JW Properties would receive 1.34 acres, which is a difference of 0.53 acres. Even though the city would be receiving less property, the benefit to the public is now that we have a actual land that we can drive on, and there'll be a graveled roadway over to the flap gates there, the levee head gates and there. So we're not going through the development. We also are gaining the levee property that is there, and also the pathway on top of it. So now we're not dealing with, if you go down the road or the pathway just a little bit, you'll see the fences right along the pathway. Now this will make it so that we control that property. The fences will be able to be down off the levee and everything, and you're not walking along that pathway like you're in a box. So the benefit outweighs, or doesn't outweigh, but I guess does outweigh the difference of the area that we would be receiving. And both of those maps can be found in the exhibit. The one that Matt Baker with Summit Land Survey put together is an Exhibit A. And then the general area, just off an aerial that I traced out so that you knew kind of reference where the property was again, or the public, is an Exhibit B. There has been no written testimony received by the engineering department at this time. And again, Jake Woodward is here if you have any questions. That is my presentation, unless you have any questions for me at this time.
Questions for Merrill? Okay, thank you, Merrill. Madam Clerk, have we received any written correspondence in the clerk's office?
No, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much. Then with that, I would look for any testimony supporting the application. Any testimony uncommitted to the application? Any testimony opposed to the application? Okay, then I would declare the public hearing closed. Council, this item is before you. How do you wish to proceed? Council President Cheatham?
Mr. Mayor, I would move for approval of the exchange of real property as outlined in agenda item number 6, and authorize your signature on all pertinent documents subject to legal department review.
Second.
We have a motion by President Cheatham and a second by Lurick. Wendy, would you please call the roll?
Cheatham?
Yes.
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 Mangum?
Yes.
Marshall?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
Thank you. We'll move to agenda item 7, Airport Transportation Agreement. Council may wish to approve a minimum revenue guarantee of up to $1,010,000 for calendar year 2023, and authorize the mayor to sign the first quarter transportation agreement with SkyWest Airlines, as well as subsequent quarterly agreements as received to provide once daily air service between Pocatello and Salt Lake City. If costs exceed revenue, the city will pay a subsidy to SkyWest for the service up to the amount in each quarterly agreement. The first quarter agreement will have a term of January 1, 2023 to March 31, 2023, and a minimum subsidy amount of maximum, sorry, not minimum, and a maximum subsidy of, I wouldn't like minimum. A maximum subsidy amount of $346,459 plus rent and landing fee waivers.
Mr. Mayor?
Council President Cheatham.
Mr. Mayor, I would move for approval of the airport transportation agreement as outlined in agenda item number 7, including the authorization of the mayor to sign the first quarter transportation agreement with SkyWest Airlines and any subsequent quarterly agreements as they are received, with the contingency that we're getting once daily air service between Pocatello and Salt Lake City. The outline of the agreement is in the transportation agreement agenda item and further defined by the contract that the council has received.
Second.
Would you add with legal department?
Oh, I'm sorry,
review?
yes. Upon legal department review of the contracts.
I second that.
Still good with that second?
Before we vote, Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
if I may, there's a letter attached to our agenda from our air consultant. And I think just to make sure the public understands what we're doing here and the importance of what this is about, I'd like to read a couple of sentences from this, if I may.
Absolutely, please do.
You know, to summarize and not draw this on forever, the consultant says, while I am unable to say with certainty what would happen without the minimum revenue guarantee continued, it's likely that the minimum revenue guarantee will reduce the risk of losing all service. With minimal growth by all airlines by their regional partners for the near term, it would be unlikely that the Pocatello Airport could attract replacement legacy hub and spoke service without a prolonged lapse in service. And I think we have to emphasize, you know, we've been told this over and over again, that if we lose service, there's a chance we may not see commercial air service back in Pocatello. And this isn't a problem just in Pocatello. Airports all across Idaho and all across the country who don't have contracts with airlines directly are at risk of losing air service, and it may not come back to us. And that money that we receive from the FAA to maintain that airport, if we lose commercial service, will be lost. And we still will have to maintain our airport. And nobody likes it. We don't like to have to do it, but we can't give up on Pocatello at this point in our airport.
Agreed.
I agree with everything Rick says, and I just want to also remind everybody one thing that we talked about last year when we were in this same position was this isn't just about commercial air service and the flight. It is the total economic impact. And the independent review or study that has been done on the airports in Idaho, we have the third largest economic impact in the state, and it's estimated at about $180 million. So that's really, we have to factor that in when we think about what we would be losing. It's not just losing a flight. It is losing a lot more than that. And the federal money that we receive for our airport, we wouldn't be able to get that. So there's a lot to consider here, and I think it's not an option for our community to lose this.
Yeah. And I might add, before we vote, I might add, we have received a number of phone calls and emails from people overwhelmingly supporting this application. And so it's nice for our community to also understand the importance of our airport. And they do such a great job out there. Alan and Christy do an incredible job at the airport. And our staff out there is just an amazing staff that it's a skeleton crew, and so they do an amazing job. So, with that, Wendy, we have a motion by Council President Cheatham and a second by Lyric. Would you please call the roll?
Cheatham,
Yes.
Lurick,
Yes.
Mangum,
Yes.
Mansfield,
Yes.
Marchand,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Thank you. Agenda item 8, we have no one signed up from the audience, and so before we adjourn, I might just wish everybody a Merry Christmas. Thank you very much. Please look out for your neighbors out there and make sure that everybody you can is taken care of as much as possible. We appreciate
warm.
it. Stay warm. Appreciate everything everybody's done this year. Thank you very much. With that, we are adjourned.